All right, everybody. So I've been doing this new segment lately where I take interesting debates from Reddit, and I saw somebody posting that YouTube is ruining the music industry. This person says he's been in a serious band for 3 years, and he can say with 100% certainty that YouTube has destroyed the joy of being in a band. He says the whole cover what's popular this week for views and ad revenue trend with every stupid band out there is ruining it for serious bands who want to make this an actual career. I understand the times we are in, but this trend needs to die. I did a video recently, I don't know how recently, and I asked the question, will rock music ever make a comeback? Is rock and roll dead? Will we ever have, just that kind of music in general? Because, and I didn't really see it coming back, and this YouTube is ruining the music industry. It kind of reminds me of that video in a way because what's interesting about YouTube and YouTube musicians in general is that I heard someone tell me a long time ago something really interesting. People have a lot of debates with music and art and all this stuff, and you can get really deep into it and really technical. But someone told me something a long time ago, and she said, I think this one statement tells you everything you need to know about music and art. And this girl told me a long time ago, she said, "Oh, I only like what I know. I only like songs that I know." That to me, that's it. That shows you everything that there is to do with. So when you imagine people pandering to getting views and playing what's popular and playing what people like, that's it. This idea of songs and liking what you know is so interesting because there's some songs that become so iconic in a certain scenario. Like, let's say, for example, there's a song that wasn't really that known. And the song that's not really that known, if you play it to somebody, they'll be like, yeah, it's an alright song, whatever, no big deal. But if you take that exact same song and fit it somewhere in a scene in a movie, and this movie is a classic movie, and the scene becomes almost legendary, right? And then you hear that song again, you're like, oh my God, that song's incredible. Because that's the song that you hear in this movie, in this one particular scene, and it's become like a classic scene. So when you hear this song, it's like everyone knows this song, everyone loves it. This song is insane. This song's amazing. This song blows my mind. But if you had originally heard that song before it was really known and just a friend played it for you, you'd just be like, yeah, I guess it's all right. It kind of reminds me of the idea of you just playing a song. Let's say one of your friends, one of your friends just plays guitar and comes up with a riff and they show it to you. They're like, hey man, what do you think of this guitar riff? You hear it, you're like, yeah, it's not bad. But if that riff had become super famous, people would be like, that's a legendary riff. The second you hear that riff, you know exactly what it is. That's mind-blowing. Why do I say that? Because there's riffs that I've heard in very legendary songs that are like, they're not that special of a riff. They're pretty plain riffs, but they become these legendary riffs. I mean, obviously there's many incredible riffs, but there's also a lot of super plain riffs, guitar riffs that end up being like legendary because of the situation they're in. So this idea of like, I only like what I know, that just explains mainstream as a whole, right? Saying I only like what I know is basically almost like saying I only like what I'm told to like. I only like it's just this mainstream mentality, right? My opinions, my views are what society tells me. It's a very conditioned thought. Like you just like what you know, what you've been told. And that's what's comfortable. Everything else kind of sounds weird, right? So when you have these YouTube musicians and they're playing covers, well, of course it's going to get more views than people. People like what they know. I saw a YouTube cover. There's a lot of guitar solo YouTube covers, and they play them really nicely. And it gets a crazy amount of views. And you wonder, what is this exactly? But that is more appealing to people than if somebody that you've never heard of plays their own guitar solo. Like if you make a video, a guitar solo I wrote based on no song, no nothing, people have no reference point to it. It goes back to the old days of being a band and playing in bars, and people just wanted a cover band. You know, that's the running joke. You can't play originals in a bar band. People just want to hear covers. Shut the hell up. I wrote a new song. Nobody gives a shit. So, I mean, it's always kind of been that way. People like what they know. So it's not like YouTube has ruined it. People always just wanted to hear covers. The only reason, it's like people always wanted to hear covers. Even when people listen to original bands, they want to hear covers. What do I mean by that? Well, when you play your original song on a radio enough times, it's basically like you're covering yourself. So people are used to it, right? If you're a band and you play original songs, no one wants to hear them. But if your songs become famous on the radio, then they want to hear them. Now you're covering yourself. So the reason they want you to play your song now is not that your song is all of a sudden mesmerizing and special. It's because they know it. That's it. That's all it is. You know, it's weird. We have this thing where we rate songs, like how good a song is, by how influential it is, or some guy playing a guitar riff in his basement, no one ever gets to hear it. How could you base the influence of that riff or how good it is on influence? Of course that riff that he played is not influential. No one knows what the fuck it is, and no one gives a shit about this guy playing this riff in his basement. But that riff could have had the potential to be just as influential as any other riff, but you base it as horseshit because you don't know it, you're not familiar with it, and it has no value. So we base value on popularity, really. Right? That's the thing. That's why we always need to do something as a human being to get value or get some sort of credibility. I have a song that's on the radio. Hey, nobody wants to interview somebody who's apparently done nothing. Imagine you're a very popular interviewer. You have a radio show or a podcast, millions of views. And someone says, oh, you should interview this guy who plays guitar riffs in his basement. Oh, yeah, what has he written? Do we know any songs? No, he's just a guy, random guy. Nobody knows him. But he's really good. Interesting guitar player. Nobody gives a shit. They want to know, do you have any hits on the radio? That's why, another example, let's say you have a friend. And this friend is really interesting, can talk to you about anything. And you think, wow, this person should be on a podcast. They could talk. Imagine if you volunteered yourself. Hey, can I be on your popular podcast? Have you written any books? No. Are you like a known personality? No. But I just like talking about different concepts. Nobody gives a shit. That's why it's funny because this idea of you need to have something, like what have you done? So it's basically, that's why a lot of people write books. Imagine if you're somebody who likes to talk about certain concepts and you've never written a book, then you're fucked. But if you're somebody who likes to talk about certain concepts and you write a book, then you could be on a popular TV show or podcast, because then they can say, well, here's this guy. He, has a best-selling book. But if you don't have a book or anything, what are they supposed to promote you as? Here's a guy that just likes to think about stuff. Hello, welcome to the show. What have you done? Oh, nothing. I just like to think about different things and concepts. Doesn't work, right? So it's always, you need something to be familiar with. Oh, yes, I know this guy. Yeah, he's written a famous book, best-selling book. Oh, yeah, I know this band. Yeah, they have this really good song. So going back, I like what I know. That's what that girl told me years ago. Oh, I only like songs that I know. So it's really just a matter of like, here's 10 people who create something. Which one has more worth? If I observe it, I think which one has more worth? I don't know. Take one of them out of the 10, make it popular and familiar, and that's the one that's going to have worth. It's really as simple as that. Because the other 9 are basically worthless because no one knows what they are, so it doesn't matter. If they ever hear it, they're like, it doesn't matter how amazing and unique it is. They'll be like, I guess that's all right. I don't know what the hell that is. Never heard about it before. And so, yeah. YouTube is ruining the music industry because everyone's covering songs that are popular for ad revenue. Like I said, people like hearing what's familiar. It was the same way back in the day when bands, before YouTube, before the internet, you're a band, I'm a serious band, and you want to play at a club or something. People love hearing covers. They want to hear something they know. Yeah, that's just the way it is. It's as simple as that. I like what I know. I only like what I know. It's always been that way. It'll always be that way because it's human psychology. I only like songs that I know. That pretty much gives you everything you need to know about that idea. It's easy to like what you know. You're familiar with it. Oh, I know that. I love that riff. Oh, I love that song. But if I had written that song and you heard it for the first time and it was never on the radio and I just played it for you, check this out, I just wrote this song, and you never heard it, but you'd be like, oh, all right, yeah, good job, buddy, you just wrote a song. It's really nothing. It's not iconic yet. It's not familiar yet. It hasn't been in a famous movie yet. It's just, oh, you wrote that? That's great. And that's it. And yeah, and on top of all that, people who are playing covers on YouTube, I mean, they're just doing what they enjoy doing, I guess. Are they doing it specifically for views and ad revenue? Maybe. Well, some people just like playing. It's fun for them. Imagine somebody's learning guitar and they learn how to play this guitar solo note for note. Like, wow, I just learned how to play the Stairway to Heaven solo note for note. And they're proud of themselves and they want to film a YouTube video, put it on YouTube, and they're happy with that. Now, some say a genuine creative artist would never do that because that's just ridiculous. They're not going to sit there, waste their time trying to learn a guitar solo note for note and be proud of themselves and pat themselves on the back and show the world that solo. They're more striving for originality, uniqueness. They're busy creating their own solos and their own ideas. But you have to understand, not everybody in this world is a philosophical, genuine artist who's looking to reinvent the wheel and, aspirations. Because, artists are always trying to reinvent the wheel. They rarely ever do, but it's the noble attempt. You're trying to come up with something original, something unique, something, you're trying to channel something into this world that you feel is unique and special. And it's the attempt that matters. The result is really insignificant. At least it's your noble attempt at trying to create something unique. But some people just like learning the Stairway to Heaven solo note for note, and it's fun for them. They're happy that they can do it. They post a video and it gets 2 million views, and it's kind of like, what the hell, man? What the hell? I'm sitting here trying to channel energies and songs and ideas from the universe, and I'm trying to expand everything and trying to bring something new, and you just copy the Stairway to Heaven solo and you get 2 million views. What the fuck? I get, because it's straight. I get it. It's strange and it's weird, but like I said, what that girl told me years ago, I only like what I know. And that's it. People like what they know. And for anybody who considers themselves a genuine artist who tries to do, of course it's going to be frustrating when you're sitting there in your room trying to channel entities from another dimension to give you special songs and notes and trying to bring something new, and then some person on YouTube just covers a solo and then they get 2 million views. You're like, well, I'm done. I understand that, but people like what they know, and that's it. It kind of is what it is, and I'll leave it at that. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.